The world of celebrities is a universe filled with glittering lights, dazzling fashion, red carpets, and powerful moments of inspiration. But beyond the surface lies a deeper truth about resilience, strength, and the courage to stand tall in the face of challenges. And when we begin with Blake Lively, an actress beloved for her roles in Gossip Girl and countless films, as well as for her radiant presence on and off screen, we find ourselves looking at headlines that say, she wants Justin Baldoni to pay millions of dollars for what she believes was a frivolous defamation suit. And while that may sound like another Hollywood dispute, in reality, it reflects the strength and determination of someone who is not afraid to protect her name, her dignity, and her future. Because celebrities, though admired like stars in the night sky, still face the storms of scrutiny and public challenges that test their resolve. And as we follow Blake's story, we also celebrate her evolution from a young, rising star into a fashion icon, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and mother. Her collaborations with designers, her stunning appearances at the Met Gala, her charitable work with children and environmental causes, all prove that she is more than just an actress. She is a multifaceted figure of influence and grace. And when such a person finds themselves in legal disputes, it becomes not only a matter of headlines, but a lesson in how to stand firm in your truth. And this is something that echoes across the stories of so many stars. Because if we look at Justin Baldoni, himself best known for his work in Jane the Virgin, and for directing films like 5 Feet Apart, his journey too is layered with ambition, creativity, and vulnerability, as he has often spoken about masculinity, fatherhood, and compassion. His path has shown that even those with good intentions may face conflicts and obstacles, and yet the resilience to move forward defines true legacy. And from here, we can smoothly transition to other stars who, like Blake and Justin, have found themselves navigating fame challenges and incredible achievements. Because when we think of celebrities in the United States, names like Beyoncé and Jay-Z shine like twin constellations, their careers spanning decades, their artistry unmatched, and their philanthropic efforts vast, from scholarships to disaster relief to pushing forward racial and gender equality. Their lives are filled with iconic moments, but also with the weight of public expectation, and yet they turn every challenge into fuel for greatness. And when we look at global stars like Shakira, whose hips don't lie, made her an international sensation, or Rihanna, whose Fenty empire revolutionized the beauty industry, while also raising millions for global education and healthcare, we see the same thread of resilience that Blake Lively demonstrates in her pursuit of justice. They all remind us that being a celebrity is not just about applause. It is about responsibility, reinvention, and courage. And as the journey unfolds, we meet Selena Gomez, who faced health struggles with lupus and a kidney transplant, yet returned with strength and music that touches souls. Her philanthropic ventures like Rare Impact Fund for mental health make her more than an artist. She is a beacon of hope, and just like Blake, she has weathered public scrutiny and personal trials with remarkable grace. And when we shift toward Taylor Swift, we witness one of the most fascinating comebacks in music history. From country sweetheart to pop sensation to the mastermind behind record-breaking re-recordings, her fight for ownership of her art mirrors, the determination that Blake shows in protecting her own truth, because at its core, every story of fame is about legacy, ownership, and the will to stand tall. And this flows seamlessly to Justin Bieber, who, like Baldoni, has had his struggles with media speculation and personal battles, yet has turned those into heartfelt music and global philanthropic efforts, showing that growth and resilience are the true measures of a star. And his wife Hailey Bieber stands alongside him, carving her own path in fashion and advocacy, reminding fans that celebrities are people with their own dreams, challenges, and victories. And so the narrative continues, moving from Hollywood to Bollywood, where Deepika Padukone not only reigns as a superstar, but also as a mental health advocate, speaking openly about depression and inspiring millions, or Priyanka Chopra, who bridges East and West, building a global career while championing girls' education and humanitarian causes, proving that celebrity influence knows no borders. And when we look to K-pop sensations like BTS, whose music addresses self-love, youth struggles, and hope, while their philanthropic efforts like supporting UNICEF campaigns uplift millions globally, we again find the same essence: the courage to use fame for good while facing immense pressure and challenges. And then there is Blackpink, whose performances break records, whose fashion defines trends, and whose global charity work demonstrates their commitment to more than entertainment. And weaving these tales together, the picture becomes clear: whether it is Blake Lively standing firm in legal battles, or a global icon like Beyoncé building generational wealth while giving back, or a young star like Billie Eilish speaking openly about mental health. Every celebrity story is a thread in this vast tapestry of resilience, fashion, philanthropy, artistry, and courage. And through these narratives, fans are not just entertained, they are inspired. They find pieces of themselves mirrored in the challenges and triumphs of stars. Because at the end of the day, the spotlight may shine brightly, but it also casts shadows. And it is how one dances between the two that defines legacy. And so as we continue to explore the world of celebrities, we remain hooked on every twist, every comeback, every achievement, not because of the glitz alone, but because these are human stories told on the grandest of stages, reminding us that behind the glamour is always grit and heart. And as we continue diving into the glittering yet complex universe of fame, we see how Blake Lively's story about wanting Justin Baldoni to pay millions for what she believes to be a frivolous defamation suit fits into a much larger narrative about accountability, ownership, and the way celebrities must protect their identities in an industry where every headline can shift perception. And when we look at Hollywood through this lens, we remember stars like Angelina Jolie, who has navigated public divorces and intense scrutiny, yet remains a global humanitarian, advocating for refugees and children across war-torn regions. Her legacy is not only in film, but in the countless lives she has touched through advocacy and action. And similarly, Brad Pitt, though often spotlighted for relationships and rumors, continues to define himself through acting, philanthropy, and architecture projects, showing that even in the chaos of celebrity life, it is possible to channel fame toward building something meaningful. And from Hollywood royalty, we move to the timeless brilliance of Meryl Streep, whose career spanning decades has made her a symbol of versatility, grace, and power. She has faced moments of industry bias and ageism, yet emerged stronger with every role, proving that true talent transcends limitations. And this echoes in Blake Lively's persistence to be known not just for her beauty or red carpet fashion, but for her intelligence, strength, and voice. And Leonardo DiCaprio, another titan of Hollywood, exemplifies how fame can be paired with activism. His environmental advocacy, his foundation, his work with world leaders all highlight the way celebrities can become vessels for global change, while still delivering unforgettable performances in films that will live for generations. And then we glance at Tom Hanks, the actor beloved for his kindness, authenticity, and performances that make us feel the depth of humanity, from Forrest Gump to Saving Private Ryan to A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. He represents a purity in celebrity that fans cherish. And when controversies or challenges arise, he faces them with honesty and humility. Something Blake Lively demonstrates too, as she balances her public image while pushing back against narratives she believes are false. And we cannot forget Sandra Bullock, whose career highs and lows have shown that reinvention is always possible. Whether in romantic comedies, dramas, or even dealing with personal challenges, her journey is one of humor, resilience, and enduring star power. And Anne Hathaway, another actress once criticized heavily by media for being too polished, has turned the narrative around with grace, authenticity, and performances that silence critics, reminding us that resilience is as glamorous as any couture gown. And stepping from actors to music, we can see parallels, because just as Blake Lively must stand firm in her truth, artists like Katy Perry have faced career ups and downs, navigating changing trends, media criticism, and personal challenges, yet continuing to deliver joy through music and philanthropy. And Lady Gaga, whose meteoric rise brought not only fame, but constant commentary about her uniqueness. Her boldness and her choices has shown that embracing your authentic self is the most radical act in show business. Her foundation, Born This Way, and her advocacy for mental health prove that celebrity can heal as well as entertain. And when we glance at Madonna, the queen of reinvention, we see a blueprint for how to remain relevant and strong in an industry that often seeks to discard women as they age. Yet she continues to shape music, fashion, and activism decades into her career. Her story echoing in the way Blake Lively stands against forces that might seek to control her image or diminish her voice. And Britney Spears, perhaps one of the most talked about women in pop culture, embodies resilience in a profound way. Her conservatorship battle, her eventual freedom, her openness about struggles and healing journey have created one of the most important conversations about autonomy in modern celebrity history. And when Blake Lively's headlines appear, it ties into this universal thread that celebrities are not passive figures. They are humans, navigating immense pressure and often needing to defend themselves and their truth in a world that commodifies their lives. And if we step further into the fashion world, we find icons like Sarah Jessica Parker, whose role in Sex and the City made her a symbol of glamour, but whose business acumen and perseverance have defined her career, or Victoria Beckham, who moved from Spice Girl fame to becoming a globally respected designer, her journey a constant reinvention, proving that identity can evolve beautifully. And then we move into the global stage where stars like Shah Rukh Khan, the king of Bollywood, have not only defined cinema, but also philanthropy, with his education and health initiatives inspiring millions across India and beyond. Or Aishwarya Rai, whose grace and beauty made her an international icon, yet whose charitable efforts in eye care and women's empowerment show her depth of heart. And when we shift to Africa, we see figures like Wizkid Burna, Boy and Thames redefining Afrobeats and taking their culture to the world stage, all while using their influence to shine light on their communities, challenges, and dreams. And this is where the magic of celebrity storytelling lives, in seeing the parallels. Whether it is Blake Lively standing strong in Hollywood, or Wizkid building bridges between Nigeria and the world, or Lady Gaga empowering fans to love themselves, the golden thread remains resilience, transformation, and the pursuit of something greater than fame itself. And as we let the rhythm of fame carry us forward, we find ourselves remembering the timeless brilliance of music legends whose stories echo with resilience and artistry, much like Blake Lively's unwavering stand. Because when we think of Whitney Houston, her voice remains one of the greatest gifts ever given to the world. Yet her journey was also filled with challenges and struggles, reminding us that even the brightest stars face storms. But what endures is the inspiration their art leaves behind, and the same can be said of Prince of Visionary, whose music, fashion, and individuality shattered barriers. He lived boldly, refusing to be boxed in, and his legacy continues to inspire artists everywhere to embrace freedom of expression. And then Dolly Parton, whose humility, wit, and generosity have made her more than a country icon. She is a cultural treasure. Her imprints on music, business, and philanthropy, such as donating millions of books to children through her Imagination Library, prove that celebrity, when paired with compassion, creates ripples for generations. And this spirit carries through to modern artists like Adele, who turned heartbreak and vulnerability into universal anthems. Her honesty about body image, motherhood, and personal struggles connect deeply with fans, reminding us that authenticity is the most powerful performance of all. And Sam Smith, too, with their courage to embrace identity and share their journey through soulful music, inspires countless listeners to live fully and freely. And when we look at Coldplay, their music transcends borders, creating a sense of unity at concerts that feel like galaxies of light. Their advocacy for sustainability and global causes makes their artistry more than entertainment. It is a call to collective healing and empowerment. And from the West, we glide to the East, where K-pop phenomenon Beats stands tall as ambassadors of self-love, their lyrics speaking directly to the hearts of millions, and their UNICEF partnership for Love Myself campaign, showing that fame can become a force for kindness and global change. Their journey from a small company to breaking stadium records proves that humble beginnings can lead to unimaginable heights. And alongside them, Blackpink shines with a fiery energy, their music, fashion, and charisma, redefining girl power on a global stage, while their influence extends into philanthropy and cultural pride, reminding fans that their idols are also leaders and mentors. And continuing along this thread, we find J Balvin, whose openness about anxiety and depression brings comfort to fans worldwide, while his reggaeton beats light up stages, and Bad Bunny, whose genre-defying artistry challenges norms and celebrates inclusivity with boldness and joy. They, like Blake Lively, prove that honesty and vulnerability do not weaken celebrities. They make them stronger, more relatable, and even more iconic. And then when we cast our gaze on Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, their individual journeys from YouTube covers and talent competitions to global stages illustrate the modern path of fame, where social media connection blends seamlessly with artistry, and their willingness to share personal ups and downs allows fans to feel like part of their growth story. And in Africa, Burna Boy's triumphs at the Grammys and his commitment to telling authentic African stories through music inspire pride across continents, while Teams with her soulful voice and collaborations continues to carve her name into the global stage, showing that this generation of stars rises not only with talent, but with courage to own their narrative. And this returns us beautifully to Blake Lively, who, while facing legal disputes and media scrutiny, embodies the same quality we see in these artists: the will to be heard, the refusal to be silenced, and the determination to make her legacy about much more than headlines. She is a mother, a businesswoman, a philanthropist, and an actress whose every step on the red carpet is matched by her steps toward protecting what matters most to her: identity, dignity, and truth. And when we link her resilience with the artistry of musicians and cultural icons, we realize that all of these journeys, though unique, share the same melody of perseverance, because whether it is Whitney's soaring ballads, Prince's rebellious artistry, Dolly's generosity, Adele's vulnerability, or BTS's message of self-love, they all remind us that true fame is not about being flawless. It is about being human in front of the whole world and still choosing to shine. And when we look to Hollywood veterans, we discover stories that mirror the resilience, determination, and reinvention that Blake Lively demonstrates in her own journey. Because Robert Downey Jr. stands as one of the greatest comeback stories in modern entertainment, once struggling with personal battles that nearly ended his career. He rose like a phoenix, becoming the face of Marvel as Iron Man, and redefining his legacy, proving that no matter how dark the chapters, the story can always shift toward brilliance. And then Scarlett Johansson, whose career spans from child actress to global superstar, she has navigated the complexities of fame. While advocating for fair treatment in Hollywood, her lawsuit against Disney over Black Widow streaming rights made headlines and in many ways parallels Blake Lively's determination to stand up for what she believes is right, regardless of the power structures around her. And then Zendaya, a shining light of the new generation who has become not only an Emmy Award-winning actress, but also a fashion icon and role model for young fans. Her humility, poise, and activism around representation show that true stardom in the modern age means standing for something beyond the screen. And Denzel Washington, a titan of cinema whose career exudes grace, integrity, and power, continues to inspire not only through performances, but also through his mentorship and philanthropy. He reminds us that greatness is not only measured in awards, but in the impact one leaves on others. And Lupita Nyong'o, whose Oscar-winning performance in 12 Years a Slave announced her as a force in Hollywood, has continued to use her platform for diversity representation and women's empowerment, inspiring countless young fans to see themselves in her story. And when we shift to the world of music, we remember the timeless Celine Dion, whose voice has carried generations, her resilience after personal losses, her courage in continuing to perform while facing health challenges, inspire millions to find strength in vulnerability. Her story, again, connecting to the essence of resilience, Blake Lively embodies, and Shakira, another global powerhouse, blends artistry, activism, and cultural pride. Her foundation helping children in Colombia access education. While her music moves millions across languages and borders, she proves that celebrity influence can change lives at the ground level, and Enrique Iglesias, whose career has spanned decades, continues to spread joy with his music while staying grounded in family life, reminding fans that fame does not have to mean losing touch with what matters most. And then we look to Jennifer Lopez, who has redefined what it means to be a multi-hyphenate, balancing music, acting, dance, fashion, and entrepreneurship, all while facing countless criticisms, yet turning each challenge into another moment of triumph. Her halftime show, her ventures in beauty and wellness, her resilience all echo Blake Lively's fight to define herself on her own terms, and Ben Affleck too, with his ups and downs from Oscars to personal struggles to his rekindled love. Story with J.Lo demonstrates that celebrity journeys are rarely linear, but always human and relatable. And Matt Damon, his longtime friend and collaborator, continues to use his fame not just for storytelling, but also for philanthropy with Water, Oregon initiative that has brought clean water to millions worldwide. And then we find Keanu Reeves, the internet's beloved figure whose humility, kindness, and perseverance through personal tragedy have made him a symbol of quiet strength. He shows us that one can be larger than life, yet deeply human. And fans treasure him not only for his roles, but for his authenticity and kindness. And these stories come together like a constellation of resilience. Because whether it is Downey Jr.'s comeback, Johansson's advocacy, Zendaya's elegance, Denzel's integrity, Lupita's empowerment, Celine's endurance, Shakira's activism, or Keanu's humility, the thread tying them all is the same one we see in Blake Lively's headline, Making Determination. The will to be more than the narrative others try to write, the courage to fight for fairness, and the ability to transform challenges into inspiration for millions. And when we talk about resilience in celebrity culture, it is impossible not to reflect on the way Will Smith's journey has mirrored the ups and downs of so many stars. His breakthrough as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air gave him a place in millions of hearts. His music, his films, his family life have all been under the spotlight. And even though the Oscars incident shook his image, he continues to work toward growth and accountability, proving that legacy is not shaped by a single moment, but by the determination to keep moving forward. And Chris Rock, too, with his sharp wit and groundbreaking comedy, has faced life's toughest challenges from health scares to personal losses, yet his ability to find humor in truth keeps him relevant, inspiring and brave. And then there is Oprah Winfrey, whose story of rising from adversity to becoming one of the most powerful figures in media is perhaps one of the greatest celebrity journeys of all time. She has built schools, she has donated millions, she has inspired generations, and she continues to show that fame is best used as a platform for change. And Ellen DeGeneres, who despite controversy around her talk show, cannot be forgotten for her role in pioneering LGBTQ+ representation. In mainstream television, a reminder that trailblazing always comes with both applause and criticism. And then Viola Davis with her powerhouse performances and speeches that resonate with honesty about race, gender, and opportunity in Hollywood. Her Academy Award, her Emmy, her Tony make her one of the few performers to achieve the triple crown of acting. Yet her greatest legacy might be her courage to speak for those without a voice. And Chadwick Boseman, whose strength in silence as he battled illness while gifting the world films like Black Panther, remains a symbol of resilience and dignity, inspiring millions to believe in their own strength, even in the face of struggle. And from there, we can glance at global stars who shook culture in unique ways, like Psy, whose viral sensation Gangnam Style crossed borders, proving that joy, humor, and dance could unite people across the world long before K-pop was the phenomenon it is today, or Anitta from Brazil, whose rise from the favelas to global charts symbolizes persistence, talent, and pride in cultural roots. Her artistry blending Portuguese, Spanish, and English speaks to the universality of music. And Rosé from Blackpink, who alongside her bandmates Jennie Jisoo and Lisa continues to dominate globally with performances that sell out stadiums, fashion collaborations that redefine style, and charitable initiatives that show heart behind the glamour. And these stories all connect back to Blake Lively, because her decision to fight a legal battle with Justin Baldoni and demand accountability is not only about money or lawsuits, it is about legacy, integrity, and showing her children and her fans that standing up for yourself is never wrong. Her resilience reflects the same courage we see in Will Smith working toward redemption, and Chris Rock using humor as armor in Oprah, turning pain into purpose in Viola Davis, breaking ceilings in Chadwick Boseman, embodying strength in Psy, spreading joy in Anitta, redefining Latin pop, and in Rosé using her voice both literally and metaphorically to inspire her generation. And this flow of celebrity journeys reminds us again that the spotlight is both a gift and a challenge. It shines, but it also burns, it uplifts, but it also exposes, and those who endure and rise above are the ones who remind us that greatness is never about perfection. It is about persistence.